Hello, hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome once again to another installment of Cryptic Corner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today is our last episode of October. So we're gonna wrap it up with another spooky cryptid, and this time it's going to be a giant bat. So, not just a giant bat though. I should backtrack on that. A whole bunch of giant bats. Apparently, there's giant bats everywhere. Usually hugging the equator. And there are giant bats everywhere hugging the equator. But we'll get into that as the show goes on. But we're not just talking about big old fruit bats here. We're talking giant, massive, sometimes bloodthirsty bats that descend upon on human civilization and then drink our blood, carry us off. What do they do next? It depends on the folklore, but let's dig into it. We're gonna start with just a basic folklore encrypted video that just encompasses kind of the whole thing, and work our way back from there. I got a little playlist. We'll see how long this takes. This one's about 9 minutes.
It's cryptid time once again, and in this video we have something that is seen in the dark. A creature that at its normal size terrifies people. This is why the Caped Crusader himself chooses the animal as his symbol. I am not afraid of bats. I have a bat that's like my roommate. Lives in one of these walls here, and sometimes it goes the wrong way and gets stuck in my room, and I have to escort it to the door. Of course, talking bats. Not your average tiny winged mammal, but giants. Massive leather-winged demons that have for eons frightened people around the world. So what could these creatures be? Where have they been seen? And what legends are told? Let's take a look.
I want a giant bat familiar though. I think that'd be a pretty good familiar to have.
Welcome to IF, videos on cryptozoology, the paranormal, and ufology. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. As with most of the cryptids I look into here on the channel, they are surrounded in myth and legend. Like an onion, we have to peel back the layers to find the creatures that lay at the center of the story.
Cryptids are like onions. I hadn't heard that before. I think cryptids are more like garlic, which we could use to dispel giant bloodthirsty bats. And you can peel back the layers, and instead of just keep more and more layers underneath until you get to nothing, with garlic, there's little flavorful little pouches in there, little delicious little pouches. Yeah, that's what cryptids are, because you peel it, it stinks, but sometimes there's some delicious little truths in there that you get to dig your teeth into.
Sometimes these animals are nothing more than legend, an animal created by the minds of men.
And I did take a special steps to not include winged humanoids in this. So I specifically steered away from those because I want this to be about bats, not bat people, because we may have enough bat people sightings and stuff for that to be its own whole episode. This episode is strictly the giant bats. No gargoyles, no vampires, just giant bats. Camazotz, Ahul, those guys.
As a tool used to teach a practical or moral lesson. Other times, we find a real creature, maybe an animal that lives today, or an...
Amber, a mandrake is almost like an onion cryptid. It's a root vegetable.
Animal that has gone extinct. This is how we come to giant bats. Starting with the Mayan legend of a massive, bloodthirsty bat god, a legend which may have links to the modern-day stories of winged humanoids. Let's begin by looking at the Zapotec Indians of Oaxaca, Mexico. This culture worshipped a god known as Camazotz, or literally death bat in the native Quiché Mayan language of Guatemala.
This one's awesome. Look at some of this art that this death bat deity has. Freaking so cool. I love when cultures have animal gods. I just love it so much. It's hard to explain how giddy it makes me. Um, because I have like a animal kaiju pantheon in my head, right? And I just add to it as I find new animal gods. And yeah, and they just they're not. I know they're not real. It's just that like as thought forms, as personifications of forces in the natural world and forces in my life, I can put animal deities to it. I don't like human deities, especially not patriarchal deities. No offense to anybody who's into that. It's just not for me. I do like animal deities, and I like, and Camazotz is my like dark queen or whatever, for my dark side. You know, Anubis never felt right for me. Is my dark underworld sort of rep. Yeah, the original furries, yes. But Camazotz, now that's something I can kind of roll with.
This giant bat is written about in the Mayan book Popol Vuh. The book describes an animal that is a massive size and fuses characteristics of both man and bat. Not bat and man, we know who that is. Like many gods of old, this bat god filled the Mayan people with fear and dread. They made frequent sacrifices to Camazotz. This in the hope that they could keep the death bat from...
See, I've never seen any art that really, that I would say necessarily means that they're trying to make it half man, half bat. It seems like it's just a giant bat, and bats just have kind of humanoid bodies. Their bodies are sort of humanoid.
Paying them a visit. The giant bat was said to reside in a subterranean layer. The Mayans christening this cave Zotzilaha, or House of Bats. If you were unfortunate enough to stumble upon the cave, it was said that
we need to go look for Zotzilaha, guys. The whole hive, we can buzz in there together. There's no way giant bats will take us all, but we could tame giant bats, and then we could fly across the night sky like the witches of old.
Camazotz would chop off your head using its razor-sharp nose, and then it would feast on your blood as your corpse lay on the ground, spurting what remained.
Because they have knife-shaped vampire bats, for real. This is why they have the knife-shaped nostrils, right? That's what they call the leaf-nosed bats. The clade that vampire bats fall into is a clade of leaf-nosed bats, because they have those two daggers on the top of their nostrils. Now, those aren't actually, sharp or anything. They don't actually cut, but in folklore, of course, they can do whatever you want.
Of your blood over the cave walls, you would find yourself adding to the creature's comfort. The bat god is said to live in the blood of those that it has killed. Blood always being such an important part of Mayan stories and cultural practices. In this case, it links with legends of 4 demon animals that once destroyed mankind, Camazotz being one of these demons. But the demon bat is not all bad, as like Prometheus of Greek legend, he is said to have given humanity the knowledge of fire. At this point is when we found...
He probably gave us the knowledge of fire so that we would set campfires, and then the moths would come and it could have a concentrated food source. Think about that. Say good morning, Spooky, or I guess it's afternoon for you. If I could be anything in the world that flew, I would be a bat and come swoop after you. Well, you know what happened after dark. Yeah. A Wrinkle in Time. I haven't seen that.
First come across the theories of cryptozoologists, and they are that the bat god could perhaps be based on a real creature. Perhaps some sort of oversized prehistoric species of bat that, like many other cryptids, has managed to cling on while other species have gone extinct, and this could be what people are seeing even into modern times. There are a variety of large bat legends found all over the globe. There are many giant bat reports, such as the creature known as the Sasabonsan of Ghana in Africa, depicted in folklore as a bearded human with bat wings.
Now that looks like Gollum, right? That's just someone took Gollum from Lord of the Rings and photoshopped some wings on him and some hair. What are you selling me here? This is not a folklore depiction.
Reports of the only known body found described it
Oh,
as being
goodness.
far less human than the legends say. It was an animal like a huge bat with a 24-foot wingspan and a stiff black and white spot.
And to make that, to clarify, the largest, other than pterosaurs, okay, we're going to cut pterosaurs out because they get absolutely massive. The largest flying vertebrate was Argentavis, which had a 23-foot wingspan. The largest bats that we know of have a 5-foot wingspan, or about 1.75 meters for my UK folks.
Fur. It had huge teeth and heavy ridges over its eyes. Then there is the Indonesian orang bat.
Now this that they're showing on the screen, this is actually the a species from Africa, from the west coast of Africa. They call it the horse-nosed bat, horseshoe-faced bat. Hold on, let me pull up the name. Hammerhead bat, is that it? Yeah, hammerhead bat. Like the hammerhead shark, but a hammerhead bat. That's what we're looking at here. And they are from Africa. They're herbivorous, of course, because all these big giant bats are herbivorous. But it's got a cool name. That's why I wanted to pull it up. I couldn't remember the first part, but the second part is awesome. It's here. Actually, let me. Oh, that's all right. I'll just read it. It's Hypsignathus monstrosus. Hypsignathus monstrosus. Yeah, I'll pull it over so you can see. That is a fun name to say. Let's say it together. Can you say Hypsignathus monstrosus? Good job. Been like a kid show. I'm Dora. I'm giving you all some Dora behavior. This playlist isn't too long. Most of the stuff's really short. But we got to get through some of the folklore stuff first because that's going to lay the groundwork.
And it's even stranger. These human bat monsters live in an extinct volcano on the island of Ceram and abduct children. But let's get back to the Mayan bat god. Evidence of the bat god being a real creature comes in the form of witness reports that over the years have described it as a giant bat-like animal, which is...
No, anecdotal evidence is the funnest kind of evidence. It's not the best evidence, but it's the most fun. Like, for real. We have the most fun with that.
Seen flying in the regions where Camazotz was historically worshipped. In 1947, a witness called J. Harrison sighted several gigantic bats. This followed in the 1950s by a Brazilian couple whom encountered what they described as a humanoid bat in northern Brazil. Most recently, there was a report of a frightening encounter with a giant bat in southern Texas on the border of Mexico. The report said that the farmer had claimed to have seen...
Even the fruit bats in South America are pretty small, though. There's not giant bats really in South America, not like we see in Indonesia, Australia, and Africa, right? Where you get the flying foxes and fruit bats with the 2-foot plus wingspan. Now, you're going to measure South American bat wingspan in centimeters. Even the biggest ones. Even the biggest ones that you can think of are going to be measured in centimeters or inches. If you're weird, I don't know why you'd measure an animal in inches, but I like to convert them for people if I can. But yeah, you usually don't find a bat with a wingspan. A bat in South America with a wingspan over 30 centimeters is like super rare, and that's like the largest.
Aggressive bat-like creatures with 3 toes, bold heads, and gorilla-like faces. A description that would match the legend of Camazotz. In January 16, 2004, Guadalupe, an eastern suburb of Monterrey, police officer Leonardo Samaniego Gallegos was on patrol when he says that he saw a very large black creature descend from a tree and then hover just above the ground. As the cautious officer approached this thing, he could see that it was a winged humanoid with a body that was covered with thick black fur. The cryptid was then said to have lunged at the car. It grabbed a hold of the vehicle and began to shake it. It went on to banging on the windshield. All of this as the terrified policeman radioed for backup. Panicking, the man threw the car into reverse, shooting.
It's a chupacabra. What are we dealing with here? It flew down from the tree and hovered, and then it attacked and it was covered in hair. And I believe that this report, almost identical report, came up before, and it was a bruja, and then it came up before, and it was a la lechuza, which is the owl witch, and then of course the bruja is just the Hispanic witch. So I've heard this story multiple times, identifying it as different cryptids with different sort of variable anecdotal differences, like maybe what city it was in, what rank the officer was, but generally the story is always the same.
Backwards and smashing into a tree, knocking himself clean out. When he came to, the creature had vanished. Jumping forward to 2009, when a witness from a rural area in Chihuahua, Northern Mexico, in the small town of La Junta, a young village man came across.
That's where I'm going to be living, not in Mexico, but I'm going to be living like right by the Chihuahua Desert. It's going to be like right there, and maybe I can find this goblin there, because this doesn't look like a bat. It said bats. Your list said bat gods and giant cryptid bats, and you've shown me quite a few humanoid.
Something Mexico, in the small town of La Junta, a young village man came across something crouched down and hunched over in the middle of the remote dirt road. When the frightened man moved closer, the creature stood up to reveal a humanoid animal with expansive wings and red glowing eyes.
You said humanoid animal, but you're showing the demon dude from Jeepers Creepers, who's not an animal. He's a demon dude. He wears clothes and uses weapons and stuff.
I have seen the movie Jeepers Creepers, so at this point, I would be running for the hills. And just like me, the terrified witness did the same. Tearing away in his vehicle, he claimed that the creature chased him for a full 15 minutes before flying off into the night. A narrow escape.
Wait. Did it chase him on foot and then fly off? Or did it fly after him, chasing him, and then fly off? That's what I kind of want to know. Because if it ran after him... Oh, this is in the Chihuahua Desert. I have to think about that. Maybe some kind of species of large owl.
Reaper could have been ready to harvest his organs. Joking aside, could the demon in that movie have been based on the Mayan bat god? Such sightings have been speculated to be possible sightings of a type of ancient bat known as Desmondus dracal, or commonly known as the giant vampire bat. This bat species, known from the fossils discovered in the Yucatan, Belize, northern Brazil, Venezuela, and Argentina. The current world's largest bat is the Bismarck flying fox.
Well, that's not true. It's the golden golden crowned. I'm looking it up. Yeah, the giant golden crowned flying fox is the largest bat in the world from Bat Conservation International. So the Bismarck flying fox is big, but the golden crown is bigger. I think there's a couple of them that are bigger. The Philippines has huge flying foxes. Australia does. Most of Oceania, at least close to the larger islands, have big bats like this. And Africa does. The Indian subcontinent, but they are missing from South America, and they're replaced with micro bats that got big and fill the same fruit bat niche. But that's not what I wanted to do. But this is a flying fox here too, and it does not look like a Bismarck. It looks like a golden crown, because that's what that gold is around its neck.
An animal that never gets larger than 6 feet from wingtip to wingtip. The island of Java is not very far from the Bismarck flying fox's home of New Guinea, and it is a location that is supposed to harbor a bat with a 12-foot wingspan called the ahul. The
There we
ahul
go.
is another giant bat-like creature, sometimes described by witnesses as having eerie feminine features and being around 5 feet.
Feminine features on our ahul. Like this doesn't look feminine in the picture, but did it have an hourglass waist or what's going on? Oh my goodness. This one has a gorilla face. I don't know that it would have a gorilla face.
Feet tall with a very large wingspan. They are said to lurk in the darkest caves all over the world and will repeatedly swoop upon their victims with their claws and fangs. The ahole is described as being a
That does sound like an a-hole thing to do. I'm just saying.
giant vampire bat. This bringing us full circle to Camazotz, the death bat, which of course enjoys a good bloody meal.
And
What do you
Kamazat is on the other side of the planet.
think these giant bats are? Are they an as of yet discovered species of animal or a once extinct beast? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like what I do here,
Yeah, you can let me know in the comments below, but I think that it's neither of those. I don't think it's based on giant. Like, there doesn't have to actually be, you know, a giant house cat for us to have the Yule cat folklore, right? Like, we don't actually, a giant house cat doesn't have to exist in Iceland for that to be folklore. Same difference here. A giant bat does not actually have to exist for there to be folklore about a giant bat. All you have to see is a small bat doing something cool, like grabbing a fish out of a river or like plucking a frog from a rock, something like that, and to say, "Oh my gosh, what if there was one big enough to pluck us from our campsite?" Then you build on that. It's just the way the folklore grows.
on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can
Next. Now this one I only
Much
had
of
one.
my family, 1996.
Here we go.
The year was about 1996, fall, when I was out hunting on a close friend of mine's property. And you might not believe this, but this is my story, and I stand firm by it. What I saw and what happened. I was tracking down what I believed to be a large 5-pointer. Long story short, made my way to a large clearing, got in a stand that I had set up long before. The stars and planets were aligned perfectly, and I had the perfect shot. As I went in to make the kill shot, I looked through my scope, and just then before I pulled the trigger, I heard the loudest screech you can ever imagine. It was almost like a deep squawk, kind of like you'd expect from a bird, but it had a higher pitched frequency distortion to it, if I'm making any sense. The deer must have heard it too, because his head immediately went up and turned in the direction facing upwards towards the sky. Before I even had a second to react, this large black flying thing swooped down and literally picked up this 5-point buck.
Okay, so there are birds of prey that will target deer and other ungulates. Golden eagles, well, excuse me, golden eagles have a scream that you don't expect because when they show them on TV, they always play the red-tailed hawk sound. No matter what bird of prey they show on a movie or a TV show, they always play the red-tailed hawk sound. So that's what you expect. And then when you hear a golden eagle, it's actually not what your brain thinks you should be hearing when you see an eagle. And then it stoops down, right? It stoops down and yeah, like a demon is always funny. Like, you know, you know how demons do.
And carried it off into the trees, far beyond any visibility that I had at the time. What this thing was, I'm not sure.
My speculation is that the the buck that he was chasing was a lot smaller than he's saying here, or than maybe he remembers. I'm not saying it couldn't have been a 5-point buck. That's usually a pretty big deer for any kind of animal to carry off. But I would not put it completely out of the question for a golden eagle to carry a even up to a yearling deer, maybe a short distance to a tree. I was not flying off with it like the rock from Arabic mythology, but maybe stooping, grabbing it, and then pulling it up to a tree to cache it. Maybe pick pieces of it off and take it back to its nest. Something like that. Maybe.
I want to say it was a large bird, but it was larger than me, and had very long dangly legs with large black talons at the end that it gripped onto this buck and picked it up. This wasn't a slow motion thing. This was a one quick swoop, fly down, grab the buck, and fly off. The entire thing maybe lasted 2 whole seconds. I got a view, but not a great one. Enough to see that this thing was pitch black, and the wings weren't like that of a bird, covered in feathers, and shaped parallel to the ground. These were almost bat-like. You could see the flesh, veins, and membranes in the skin. I don't know what it was.
In 2 seconds, you saw the flesh, veins, and membranes in the skin. So this reminds me of one of my very first episodes of Cryptic Corner, which was the Beast of Pennsylvania or whatever. It was a black vulture that with a grainy photo, and the person insisted that its wings were translucent, or that light passed through its wings. And from the photographs, you could clearly see that it was just the lighter color underside of the feathers, making it look out like there was light coming through.
I don't know if it was a large bat or some sort of weird nocturnal creature. I don't know, but it scared me enough that day that I got down out of my stand and I ran back. I fled from that area. If this thing was capable of picking up a 5-pointer buck, no problem. I had no idea what it would do to me, and I wasn't going to stick around to find out. You can bet I hightailed it out of there. Once I got to my friend's house, I explained to him exactly what I saw, and he knew something was up. I come barging in, pale as a ghost. He asked me what was wrong,
Okay.
and I told him exactly. He appeared to believe me, and even seemed worried himself. At first, he thought I was pulling his leg, joking with him, but I had to reiterate my...
Did you go back out with the camera at least? That sounds like something you want to get a picture of. You see an eagle, or I say it's an eagle because an eagle's the only thing that flies that can pick up ungulates that I'm aware of. Not a 5-point buck, but they can pick up ungulates. They can pick up sheep and small deer. There's some small species of deer that they can eat up into adulthood, like dukier and stuff like that, dicks and those kind of small little tiny deer species. But a 5-point whitetail buck is probably out of any bird of prey's weight category. Definitely out of any bat's weight category, though. But I would not think that it would be warm enough in North America to for a bat to benefit from being that size. Now, when it comes to thermoregulation, birds have it figured out with the layered feathers, and they're very highly insulated. They have also special types of fat in their bodies to help them stay warm and lets them grow to huge sizes. I mean, even up in the Arctic, like the Arctic terns are huge, for instance. But bats, because bats are mammals and our integument is fat and fur that we develop to keep ourselves warm. It kind of is inverted. The bigger a bat gets, the less the more fat it would need to have to burn, the more energy it would have to burn to move its big giant wings, and the wings would lose heat like crazy because they're not covered in feathers like a bird's wing. They're open skin with blood vessels flowing through them. That's actually, that's why elephants have big ears that they flap to keep them cool. And then you get to like a mammoth, and a mammoth has tiny little ears because the mammoth is trying to retain its body heat. A bat would a giant bat in the northern climate would almost certainly have lost the ability to fly in order to maintain a body weight because its wings couldn't be big. Yeah, it just works inverse like that. I know it's weird to say, but...
Story several times to let him know exactly where it was, what it
Morning, Chris Mallard.
was, and what it did. This friend of mine still hunts on that same property today. No problems, no issues whatsoever. I guess he's the brave one. Knowing what I saw nearly 25 years ago, and no sighting of it since, that tells me that whatever it was is probably living incognito. Either that.
Yes, I used to love Beastmaster. Oh, I still love Beastmaster. That they wrap their my microphone. That they wrap their wings around the guy and open it up and it's skeletons. Yeah, those bird monsters are pretty. They're bird bat things. I don't know what to call them, but they don't kill Dar because he has what's the bird's name, Karak or something like that with him, and they revere the eagle. Which is a golden eagle, I believe. It is the golden eagle that he has in that movie. Which is the one that's big enough to carry a ungulate. And in that movie, Karag actually carries a child that they try to throw into a sacrificial pit. Pretty cool. Good movie. Making me nostalgic now. If I need to find that on streaming somewhere and watch it.
Or lives outside the area and only comes in certain times of the year to eat and hunt. If it's
right. Let's get to the Ahul. I think this one's just no audio or anything, just video. So we're gonna named after its distinct call. It says, It is said to be like a bat-like bat-like creature near the size of a one-year-old child. Oh, it's gonna go so super fast. I guess I could slow it down, but yeah, we're not gonna do this one. Nope. Here we go. What? That's cool. That is so cool. I want one. It's either a drone or a kite. I think it's a kite. Because if it was a drone, I'd probably be doing more. It might be... Oh. Hold on. Let's go back. We'll get to you in a second. Yeah. Because I think if it was a drone, they would be able to maneuver it around a little more fancy. I guess kites could be maneuvered around fancy too, though, so who knows. It might be a drone. They can make drones look like anything these days. They got drones of Snoopy sitting on his doghouse, for instance. I hear him talking about the police and La Chusa, which is the, yeah. Yeah. They call it the La Chusa. Alright, the next one is, yeah. Now, I'll say this. This poor Kalugo got caught in the desert or in the jungle and put on a string. I don't think the sound is actually the sound that it makes. Like he's got it on a stick. Watch, you'll see the stick come up here. It's not actually lunging and making that sound. He's dragging it and making it flap and then putting the sound over top of it. Speaking of sound. But this is just sad. So yeah, there's the stick right there. It's not even pretending. Not even pretending anymore. What are you doing, pal? Leave that Kalugo alone. Just leave it alone. Let it go back into the forest where it belongs, where it can glide around and live in its natural habitat. Drag it out here into your driveway and tie it up to a stick and bounce it around. That's sort of awful. Sort of awful, pal. Aww. Hopefully he lets it go. I don't know what happens to it. But definitely a Kalugo. Now a Kalugo is actually closer related to us than most other mammals. It's a sister clade to the primates in Eucontoglires. So sometimes this is called a flying lemur.
不要关它了，放到它了。
还要咬人才放。
拿东西盖包住它。
I'd rub its belly. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually making that sound or not. I don't think it is.
Bats have long been associated with black magic, darkness, and the underworld. So when a gargantuan specimen was reportedly captured by military personnel in the jungles of the Philippines, tales of its terror soon spread. Looking like something straight out of a vampire horror flick, the pictured animal is in all likelihood a reality and belongs to a group of megabats commonly known as flying foxes.
Yeah. I remember pictures like this would go around all the time with the big bats hanging, and they had the bat hang up like real close to the camera, like right here, and then the person would stand right here and be like, "Look, my hand!" Like in the forced perspective, like, "Look, my hand's as big as a person. I have giant hands." Or let me see. Let me do something. Yeah, here we go. Look, it's a life-size Godzilla or human-sized Godzilla in the frame with me. Isn't that cool? It's a giant Godzilla statue that I have. Forced perspective.
As the name implies, their head resembles that
Morning,
of a fox,
salt of the
and
red
the
earth.
wingspan of certain species can reach almost 6 feet wide. There's nothing to fear though, as their diet is made up of simply nectar and fruit. In fact, their existence is a blessing, for they play an integral role in seed dispersal.
Don't you kind of wish that your diet was made up of nectar and fruit? It's not like the most chill and peaceful and like the softest diet. Ah, I want that. I want that for us all, just to chill and eat fruit and nectar and just chill, and not have to. We can just like hang from our feet in the tree branches till a python comes and eats us. But
and pollination. The two species of bat found in the Philippines that can reach mega proportions is the giant
Crazy
golden
eyes.
crowned flying fox and the Malaysian flying fox. Both face pressures from deforestation and poaching, and it is always a shame to see such magnificent animals propped up like this.
And this is forced perspective too, of course, the way that this is being shown here.
Because healthy and alive is when they truly shine. Once
For
again,
real.
thanks for tuning in, and giddy up.
Yeah. I'm all about preserving and not hunting these animals down. Aswing! Mananangongo. I don't know how to say that. Mananangongo? And that's not English. That's some language I don't understand. So, here we go. Those look kind of like the same kind of drones or kites or whatever we saw before, don't they? I'm thinking it's a specific build of drone. And this is supposed to be in the Philippines. Yeah, I'm gonna go with... They might be custom drones though, look. Because they got like the humanoid torso almost, with a humanoid head. Oh, we got one hiding in the bushes too. Is that really supposed to be? Batman Bora.
Hello and welcome to the giant bats found in the minutes within the mist. Today, we will learn how a cryptid became a reality known as the Malularuca. Captain William Hitchens wrote in Discovery magazine in December of 1937 that native Creolesmen of Tanganyika, now Tanzania, spoke of a mysterious creature known as the Malularuca, or flying jackal. It was described to be a jackal, but with leathery wings measuring 2.5 feet long. Some said this undiscovered giant bat could truly fly, while others believed it was only capable of gliding, and that its diet consisted mainly of fruit. It was probably the foremost tame and normal of the undiscovered African giant bats at the time.
Yeah, Africa had its share of giant bat lore.
Like the known species of giant bats, it is a fruit eater, and it often flew in the local fruit gardens, frequently raiding mango trees and pomegranates during its flights at dusk. It would give voice to loud cries while on the wing.
I love their derpy little eyes. They're so cute. Oh, I can't stand it.
In 1926,
I think this is the bat that they modeled like the Batty Coda from Ferngully off of, which is really weird because Batty Coda is in, I believe Ferngully takes place in South America, based on the other animals like the giant tegu.
Zoologist Arthur Loveridge set out to uncover the truth and track down the creature to Vituri, only to learn that it was not a flying jackal at all. Instead, he discovered a Lord Derby's or Fraser scaly tail, known by its scientific name Anomalurius derbineus. The locals had been mistaken. What they thought was a mythical flying jackal was really a large aerial squirrel. I hope you enjoy
A
learning
gliding squirrel.
about the discovery of a true life cryptid and will join us at the Within the Mist for more cryptids, ghosts, and other mysteries for free on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
Bats are some of the most fascinating animals
right.
alive today. As one of the few
Now we're going to get, I actually don't want, this is Benji Thomas. I don't want to play their whole video because I want people to go to actually their channel. They actually started a new channel called 7 Days of Science. So go check that out as well.
vertebrate lineages to achieve true powered flight, learning about these mammals is always rewarding, and the evolutionary history of the bat order is a captivating journey. There are many amazing extinct bat species that we know of, but the one we're looking at today is a particularly remarkable taxon. Desmodus draculae was the largest vampire bat that's known to have ever existed, living until very recently throughout the Americas, and likely having fed on the blood of megafauna such as giant sloths.
Yes, so there were giant bats, giant vampire bats, but they weren't giant like in the way that you would think of a giant bat
Desmodus
today.
draculae was first encountered back in 1965, when fossil remains belonging to the bat were discovered in a cave in Venezuela, though it wasn't until 1988 that the fossils were officially described as a new species. These remains included an almost complete skull and mandible, in addition to parts of the arm bones and 3 vertebrae, though other specimens have since been found which preserve more of the skeleton. The paleontologists decided to very aptly name this new species, the largest vampire bat known, after Count Dracula himself, creating the specific name Draculae. The bat was also found to actually belong
Now see how it's got like little ridges above its nose? That's what I was talking about with the leaf-shaped segments on its face.
to an already known genus, Desmodus, the same as the still living common vampire bat Desmodus rotundus. Several other extinct species in this genus have also been named, however Desmodus draculae is still the largest. Since the initial discovery of this bat in Venezuela, both fossils and subfossils have been found throughout the Americas, from as far south as Argentina all the way to Mexico, and ranging from the late Pleistocene to as recently as possibly just 300 years ago. So how big was Desmodus draculae? Well, it was still a vampire bat, so it's not exactly reaching future predator dimensions.
Now, future predator, that was supposed to be like the evolved bat, like from millions of years in the future, when they became giant nocturnal quadrupedal predators.
But it was huge for a Desmodontine. Looking at the size of its skull, it's likely that the species was capable of achieving a wingspan of around 50 centimeters, and probably.
And now remember for my American people that that 30 centimeters is about a foot, so 50 centimeters is going to be about just about a foot and a half, a little under a foot and a half. So not huge, just a big bat, but not huge.
Probably a mass of 60 grams. This might not.
Now vampire bats are very skilled at moving on the ground on all fours, so that's an ability that they have that a lot of other bats don't have too, and it's because they lay on kind of farther away from their targeted meal, and then they crawl towards it or hop towards it, is to not draw too much attention to themselves.
Not sound all that impressive, but that puts Desmodus draculae in the same realm as the largest of horseshoe bats and even small fruit bats, while most of its relatives are more in the range of 10 to 20 grams, so this was truly a monster among microbats. As I just mentioned, the giant vampire bat had a pretty massive geographic range stretching across the Americas.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to the next video now because I don't want to watch too much of theirs, but yeah, this is Benji Thomas. And they have a great animal channel, or fossil channel. And then they got 7 Days of Science as well. Let's see what we got here.
Scientists discovered the remains of a 100,000-year-old giant vampire bat.
Oh, this one's robot voice. Ugh.
Approximately 100,000 years ago, there was a massive vampire bat. It was the largest of all vampire bats, at least 30% larger than its closest living relative, the common vampire bat.
Yeah, so yeah, 30% larger. It's not like kaiju size, not even man size.
Recently discovered the fossilized remains of the species, known as Desmodus draculae, in an Argentina cave. They believe the remains will reveal important information about why bats die out and how their evolution in prehistoric times was linked to climate change. The significance of the fossils, which were recently published.
Don't you love their little wings? They stretch out their wings. It's so cute.
In a Meganiana, is notable. The discovery of the species jaw confirms its presence in the mid-latitudes and during the Pleistocene epoch. There are approximately 1,400 known bat species today, with only 3 being vampire bats, which feed on the blood of other creatures. The common vampire bat, Desmodus rotundus, hairy-legged vampire bat, Diphila ecordata, and white-winged vampire bat, Diademus youngi, are the 3 living species in Central and South America. Scientists also believe that all species, both living and extinct, descended from the same ancestors. Nonetheless, in reality, they are peaceful animals that feed on the blood of other animals, and occasionally humans.
That's kind of counterintuitive that they're peaceful animals that feed on the blood of other animals. I'm peaceful. I just want your blood. Don't make it weird. I just want to bite you and drink your blood. I'm peaceful. I just want to bite you. Can I bite you in peace, please?
For a few minutes without causing pain. The only disadvantage is that if infected, they can spread rabies or other diseases. Surely, their prehistoric ancestors behaved similarly. The findings reveal not only how the species lived, but also how they died out. One reason could be the depletion of their food supply, while another could be their inhospitable climate. We'll meet you in the next update. Please consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you.
All right. So, I think that's it for the bats. Well, oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. This is the cutest thing that's ever been put on YouTube. Look how cute he is. We don't got audio. Look at him. Trying to make a comfortable spot. Make yourself comfortable. Yeah. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. There you go. Ah, stretch that wing. Oh, stretch that wing. Everybody stretch with the bat. Oh, got ahead of him. There you go. Oh, big stretch. All right. Big stretch. You sleepy? He's getting ready to go to sleep. It's the sun shining, and it's time for Bat to go to bed. Night night. Sleep tight. Oh, did he just yawn? That's so cute. I love his little face. Oh, there's his little tongue. God, it's so cute. All right. Good night, little bat. Good night. Sleep tight. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So, yeah, that's our giant bats. It was kind of all over the place today. We bounced between mythology and sightings of actual animals, and it's been a nice coverage of the overarching topic. See, unlike the giant spiders, I didn't think there's enough giant bats to cover each continent on its own. I didn't think there was enough sightings of it. But with the giant spiders, we've done Africa and North America. We haven't done Asia or South America or Australia yet, or Antarctica, because yes, there are giant spiders from Antarctica. Good morning, John Fabiano. You missed the giant bats, but you're just in time for more flying stuff, so don't you worry about it. But yeah, that's going to finish up Cryptic Corner for me. I guess I could have probably had one more video on this week's show to fill out the time, but that's all right, because we may use up that time at the end of the show when we talk about that black wolf, because there's a lot to say about the black wolves. I will see you guys, though. Or I guess I need to close this segment out first. Thank you for tuning in for Cryptic Corner. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.